Yes, guys, welcome back to more GBFC. Arsenal versus Paris Saint-Germain Champions League semi-final. I wasn't going to be doing previews anymore for matches because there's so much football and there's so much to review, which is always a little bit more exciting. But because this is such a big game and we've covered both Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal quite heavily over the course of the last 6 weeks on more GBFC, I wanted to look forward to this game tonight because even though I'm a Chelsea fan and the last thing I want to see is Arsenal winning the Champions League, I'm sure Arsenal fans can understand that. I just think this is such an incredible matchup. This is the predicted lineups for both Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. And according to this is a straight 4-3-3 shootout. You can see the one big difference here for Arsenal compared to what we saw here in Madrid is this guy. Thomas Partey is suspended for the first leg at the Emirates. Is this going to be the sticking point? Because Paris Saint-Germain, their midfield is absolutely brilliant. If we take a look at what happened earlier this season, where Arsenal beat PSG by 2-0. Kai Havertz was on the pitch that day, got himself a goal and a man of the match performance. Warren Zaire-Emery, Vitinha and João Neves was the midfield, and this is what we saw from PSG against Aston Villa. Neves, Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz has kind of become that third man in the midfield for PSG over the course of this Champions League season. So this day, PSG were beaten away at Aston Villa 3-2. An incredible comeback from Aston Villa, but not enough to knock them out. And this game here, Paris Saint-Germain were beaten by Arsenal 2-0. The big question is the Arsenal 2 PSG 0 game actually relevant? Well, I don't think you can say it's not relevant in the build-up to this one because Arsenal have clearly proven that they can beat this Luis Enrique Paris Saint-Germain side. And that day, if we take a look again at Arsenal versus PSG, Arsenal were playing with a 4-4-2, with Trossard being that second striker, and he obviously came off for Gabriel Jesus later in the game. But the Arsenal team that we're talking about today has evolved massively from this. Calafiori, Gabriel Saliba, Timber was the defence on that day. And now, of course, Miles Lewis-Skelly has been one of the highest performers for Arsenal recently. Kiwior in for Gabriel, who's injured, Saliba, Timber, and David Raya. Miles Lewis-Skelly, I want to speak about him again in the build-up to this game because the two performances against Real Madrid, for me, was like, okay, we're no longer talking about a purple patch of form for a young player that's simply excited to be playing for Arsenal and getting an opportunity. We are talking here about a serious left back. And this left side for Arsenal is where I think they can seriously hurt Paris Saint-Germain. Because if we take a look at Achraf Hakimi, a lot of the time, if we bring up the game against Aston Villa, Achraf Hakimi's average positions are so advanced here. Particularly because PSG had a lot of the ball. Hakimi loves to get forward. If we take a look again at Arsenal's left side, you have got solidity and a man that can win tackles in Lewis-Skelly. Declan Rice, who's just been on another planet in the Champions League this season. And then, as we saw in this game against Real Madrid, the pace of Gabriel Martinelli. And I made the video after Arsenal's win in Madrid, where obviously the first game, it's all about Declan Rice. To score 2 free kicks against the world's best goalkeeper means that you absolutely deserve to have the headlines. But in Madrid, for me, it was all about Gabriel Martinelli. I thought his performance was absolutely superb. 2 assists as well for Mikel Merino, who on that day, you can see he's pretty much playing everywhere on the pitch for Arsenal, putting in a serious shift. But I think the key thing is going to be whether or not Arsenal are going to have enough in the middle with Trossard. We know he's a player that likes to work hard. He puts in a shift every time. But I think having Merino up top, as much as I don't think Merino is a striker, and I think Arsenal this summer will address that issue, or is it an issue? But I think Merino having to play here without having that engine of Thomas Partey could be a deciding factor in this first leg. If Arsenal go into that second leg and it's a draw, or they're 1 goal ahead, I think they're absolutely going to have enough to see off PSG. Why? Because this defence and David Raya in goal have been so solid this season. But you also cannot underestimate this incredible attack that Paris Saint-Germain have. If you want to check out the video I did on PSG and Enrique's 4-3-3, I'll leave it as a card up on the screen now. And 91+% of people aren't subscribed to this channel. So if you don't want to miss anything coming up, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. But as much as we can talk about it being a problem that Merino might have to play here, Trossard I think will do a job, but I think based on the shape, I think Thomas Partey is going to be a massive miss. But the game will be won by these two midfields. If Arsenal can get the most out of Rice, Merino and Odegaard, which are three fantastic footballers, outmuscle and beat Neves, Vitinha and Ruiz, who I think when it comes to muscle, I think Arsenal can do that against these guys, but it's about control. Paris Saint-Germain, particularly at the Parc des Princes, they have so much control of the ball, and these guys absolutely can hurt you, but that's why I said Arsenal's defence is probably what, for me, makes them the favourites going into this whole tie. Doué is just a maverick footballer. He can hurt you on any given moment. We know that. Dembele as well, Kvaratskhelia. We know that these two, particularly the wingers here that I'm circling, these guys love, Kvaratskhelia in particular, loves to come central. This is going to be a fascinating matchup. And if it really is a 4-3-3 versus a 4-3-3, I think for Arsenal, it's about not being beaten at home, first of all. I think if PSG win the home leg, I think PSG will go through. But Arsenal, I think, have to do what they did here against Real Madrid. I think Arsenal, in both matches, need to go for it. Because as much as I think that PSG team is stronger going forward, which is crazy to say that with Vinny, Bellingham, Rodrigo and Mbappe, I think in terms of fluidity, this Paris Saint-Germain attack is actually better than what we saw from Real Madrid. Real Madrid are in a bad moment. PSG are not in a bad moment. They're having a very good season. Already champions of France. Everything is hanging on this game for Paris Saint-Germain. So for me, it's about Arsenal going out there and doing what they did against Real Madrid. Go out, attack. Yes, they had those two incredible moments in the first leg of the quarterfinals, but I wouldn't put it past them having those moments again at the Emirates, if I'm being honest. The atmosphere sounded electrifying. That will definitely have a part to play. The fact that PSG did struggle at Aston Villa, which again, that was a cauldron of noise at Villa Park. Arsenal need to have that on their side again at the Emirates. My score prediction for this first leg, if this is the two predicted lineups, I actually think this will be what it is. I don't think we're going to see anything close to this. Both teams have evolved so much. Arsenal, everything is about this game. Their Premier League form is kind of irrelevant, and I think there's enough about the occasion and what we saw against Real Madrid in particular to suggest they're going to show up. For PSG, has the fact that the league has been sewn up for a while, will it take its toll on them? I think Arsenal are going to win this first leg, but I do think Paris Saint-Germain are going to score. I think Arsenal are going to win 2-1 at the Emirates in the first leg. Let me know, Arsenal fans and PSG fans, how you think this is going to go. Barcelona versus Inter Milan is the game on Wednesday night. This one's a difficult one to judge, really, because I think Barcelona will be the favourites for this, obviously. And Inter Milan have just become so difficult to beat, and their pedigree in this competition, especially in recent years too, is massive. Lautaro Martinez is an absolute handful. And all in all, they've got some brilliant defenders. They're great and organised under Inzaghi. I think Barcelona will also win that home leg 2-1, which means that it is absolutely going to be all to play for going into those second legs in Paris and in Milan, respectively. Let me know your thoughts going into these Champions League semi-finals. But for me, I hate it that I'm saying it. I just think this could be Arsenal's year. And I think they have got more than enough solidity defensively. And with Bukayo Saka, who we've not really spoken about too much today. The big question, I think, is, well, Mo Salah was pocketed by Nuno Mendes. Can Bukayo Saka undo that and get the better of him? It's going to be very, very difficult. But Bukayo Saka, I believe, is a phenomenal winger. And he brings so much tenacity, guile to this Arsenal team. I think Arsenal are going to get over the line in the first leg. Arsenal 2, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Bit of admin, as I said earlier in this video. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. I'm trying to get the subscribers numbers up. I'd love to hit 10,000 subscribers soon. I mean, I don't know where we could go between now and the end of the season, but you guys have been showing so much love and support on the videos on the channel. I upload here every single day. We don't just cover the big games. We make videos about the other teams as well that maybe don't get as much airtime on YouTube. So stay tuned for more. Thank you guys for watching. Score predictions for the Champions League semis in the comments down below, and I'll see you after the game for a review.